who have no clue what they're doing and destroying our foundation in the European Union. Look at the German car market.
We are witnessing the collapse of the European Union in real time. The leader of Germany's far-right party, Alice Weidel, is calling on Germany to follow the example of Brexit, leave the EU, and abandon the euro. Germany is undoubtedly the most influential country in the EU, and if it decides to leave the organization, it will likely mark the beginning of its end. Such a development could completely reshape Europe, paving the way for an entirely new political and economic order. A scenario that once seemed impossible is now becoming increasingly likely. So, what's next? Is the EU about to collapse, or is it impossible? Let me show you what is going on here. You will be shocked at what this has to do with the United States, Russia, and BRICS. On January 1st, 2025, Europe woke up to a harsh reality when Ukraine decisively terminated its gas transit agreement with Russia. This bold move sent shockwaves through the continent, ending decades of dependency on Russian gas. Overnight, Moscow's iron grip on Europe's energy supply vanished, leaving behind an uncertain future. Natural gas prices skyrocketed, triggering soaring electricity bills that squeezed industries and citizens alike. Unfortunately, the problem had been building up for years as Europe was reducing the amount of cheap gas it imported from Russia. The entire energy sector of the European bloc was in danger, but they failed to admit it or address the issue. This isn't just a spike in energy prices, it's a full-blown crisis. The gas shortage is forcing businesses to scale back production and consumers to make tough choices about heating their homes. The European energy grid is struggling to maintain stability, with some regions even bracing for rolling blackouts. Experts warn that the repercussions could stretch far beyond Europe, potentially destabilizing global energy markets. At the center of this crisis stands Germany, the economic engine of Europe. For decades, Germany relied on Russian gas to power its industrial sector, and now that foundation is crumbling. While the country has invested heavily in renewable energy, bad weather and inconsistent output from solar and wind farms have worsened the problem. Germany's industrial output has nosedived, with factories cutting hours or shutting down altogether. Energy costs are consuming an unprecedented share of business expenses, leaving many companies unable to compete. Households are paying a mind-blowing 74% more for energy compared to pre-crisis levels, forcing millions to dip into savings or go into debt. Economists predict that if this trend continues, Germany could fall into its deepest recession since World War II.
But the move away from Russian gas and the departure from nuclear has sent energy bills way up, a source of discontent that's playing out in policy debates ahead of next month's election.
This energy crisis isn't just about losing Russian gas. It's a wake-up call about Europe's fragile energy security. Years of over-reliance on a single supplier left the continent vulnerable, while the rush to renewables without sufficient backup created a perfect storm. Can Europe recover? Or will this crisis force the region to rethink its entire energy strategy? Germany, which is considered a pillar of European stability, now faces an unexpected and alarming political shift. As the energy crisis deepens and economic pressures rise, the far-right alternative for Germany, AfD party, has surged in popularity, shaking the nation to its core. In September 2024, the party even became the first far-right party to win an election since 1945. The AfD was once a fringe movement, but is now tapping into widespread public frustration with sky-high energy costs, dwindling economic opportunities, and what many see as failed leadership. The AfD's proposals are sometimes considered provocative. Among their suggestions is withdrawing from the European Union, abandoning the euro, and reopening pipelines to Russian gas. While their critics accuse the party of undermining decades of European integration, their supporters argue these measures are necessary for Germany's survival. Shockingly, recent polls suggest the AfD could secure over 20% of the national vote, which is an unprecedented rise for a party long dismissed as radical. If this popularity continues, then Germany's political future and Europe's stability hangs in the balance. For decades, Germany has been the engine driving European integration. From founding the European Union to spearheading the creation of the euro, Germany's commitment to unity has defined its post-war identity. The country's economic miracle relied heavily on the single market and the stability of a shared currency, enabling its industries to flourish. Economically, Germany's significance is immense. With a GDP of $4.2 trillion as of 2024, it accounts for nearly 25% of the EU's total economic output. It is also the world's third-largest exporter, driving Europe's trade relationships with major economies such as China, the United States, and Russia. The German economy thrives on manufacturing and engineering, with industries like automotive, led by global giants such as Volkswagen, BMW, and Mercedes-Benz, contributing over 69% of Germany's exports in 2023. Germany is deeply integrated into European trade, facilitating commerce with its neighbors. The country's industrial base supports millions of jobs, not only within its borders but across Europe, through extensive supply chains that include countries like Poland, Hungary, and the Czech Republic. Moreover, as the largest net contributor to the EU budget, Germany's financial support is essential for the development of less prosperous member states and the maintenance of economic stability across the bloc. Europe will collapse not just economically but in global relevance if Germany should leave. The geopolitical importance of Germany is equally critical. Located at the heart of Europe and sharing borders with 9 countries, including key EU members like France and Poland, Germany serves as a strategic hub for continental affairs. While historically cautious in foreign policy, Germany has emerged as a leading advocate for diplomacy, multilateral agreements, and European integration. As one of the founding members of the EU, it has played a central role in shaping policies on climate change, migration, and economic governance. Germany's commitment to NATO further shows its geopolitical significance, with the most recent annual defense spending exceeding $66 billion, supporting Europe's collective security amid growing tensions with Russia. If Germany's economy or political stability falters, the consequences for Europe will be serious. A German recession could shrink the EU's GDP too, destabilizing trade and undermining the strength of the euro. Politically, a weakened Germany would open the door for nationalist movements across the continent, threatening the EU's cohesion. Furthermore, without Germany's leadership, Europe would struggle to address crises ranging from migration to rising tensions with Russia. But since 2022, this economic giant has declined at a shocking pace. By 2023, Germany wasn't just struggling. It had become the worst-performing major economy on the global stage. What went wrong in a country that was once the envy of the world? The cracks in Germany's foundation run deep. Small and medium-sized enterprises, which are the backbone of the economy, are collapsing under the weight of structural inefficiencies. In 2024 alone, the country experienced a staggering 36% increase in company insolvencies, the highest level in decades, marking a troubling trend for businesses unable to sustain operations. High labor costs and excessive regulatory burdens have fostered an environment where many enterprises fail before they have a chance to succeed. Meanwhile, the national unemployment rate has climbed to 6.1%, sounding alarm bells not just within Germany but across Europe as well. If Germany's economy is dying, it is because its car industry has stopped being productive. This was once a global leader in automotive engineering, but the sector now faces one scandal after another. Diesel emissions fraud, outdated strategies, and the inability to keep pace with the electric vehicle revolution have tarnished Germany's automotive legacy. Volkswagen, a cornerstone of Germany's manufacturing industry, has announced significant changes, including plans to close 3 factories by 2027 and cut thousands of jobs as part of its cost reduction strategy. These closures, targeting plants in Dresden and Osnabrück, aim to address high labor costs and underutilized capacity, while remaining staff are set to face a 10% wage reduction over the next 2 years. Electric vehicles, which were supposed to represent the future, remain a missed opportunity. By the end of 2023, only 20% of German cars sold were EVs, trailing behind countries like China and the US. The economic and industrial decline isn't just a result of external pressures. Much of it is self-inflicted. Germany's famously meticulous bureaucracy, once a strength, has become a liability in a fast-moving world. While other nations embrace digital transformation, Germany clung to outdated processes. Entrepreneurs in the country face an average of 120 days to register a new business, compared to 20 days in the US. How did a nation famous for its stability stumble into such chaos? In a stunning turn of events, Germany's coalition government has disintegrated, plunging Europe's largest economy into unprecedented political chaos. On November 6, 2024, Chancellor Olaf Scholz dismissed Finance Minister Christian Lindner, triggering the immediate withdrawal of the Free Democratic Party, FDP, from the ruling alliance. This sudden collapse has left Scholz at the helm of a fragile minority government, struggling to navigate the nation through escalating economic and immigration crises. Germany's federal parliament has been dissolved following a failed vote of confidence in December, setting the stage for snap elections scheduled for February 23, 2025. This development proves the severity of the political crisis and the urgent need for a stable government capable of steering the country through these turbulent times. The collapse of the coalition government comes at a time when Germany is struggling with significant economic challenges. The nation's economy has reduced for 2 consecutive years, with a 0.2% decline in GDP in 2024, following a 0.3% drop in 2023. This marks the first back-to-back annual contraction in over 2 decades, signaling deep-rooted issues that require immediate attention. As Germany prepares for the upcoming elections, the stakes could not be higher. The outcome will determine the nation's ability to implement effective economic policies, address energy dependencies, and manage immigration challenges. The political instability has also raised concerns about Germany's role within the European Union and its capacity to influence broader European policies. But things get even more complicated. In a jaw-dropping twist, billionaire Elon Musk publicly declared his support for Germany's controversial far-right political party, the Alternative for Germany, AfD, in December 2024. Using his social media platform X, Musk boldly proclaimed, "Only the AfD can save Germany," sparking a global uproar. Moreover, Musk did not stop there, calling Chancellor Olaf Scholz an incompetent fool, which only amplified the impact of his statement. These remarks instantly boosted the party's popularity, but also sparked widespread debates about the appropriateness of such influence. Musk's statement sent shockwaves through Germany's political landscape. Analysts are torn. Some suggest his endorsement lends credibility to the AfD, potentially swaying undecided voters, while others denounce it as blatant meddling in Germany's democratic process. Foreign interference, intentional or not, has become a hot issue in European politics, and Musk's unprecedented move only adds fuel to the fire. Critics argue that a billionaire with no stake in Germany's cultural or political history should not wield his influence to reshape its democratic future. Could Musk's endorsement, amplified by his millions of followers, shape the future of one of Europe's most robust democracies? The real shocker is that the AfD party is advocating for Germany's exit from the European Union, a move that has become known as Dexit. Economists warn that Dexit could have catastrophic effects on both Germany and the EU. For Germany, estimates suggest a potential reduction in economic output by up to 10%, translating to a staggering loss of $430 billion annually. This downturn could lead to increased unemployment, decreased investment, and a significant decline in the nation's global economic standing. Germany's obsession with exports, though initially a strength, has become a problem. Exports account for most of Germany's GDP, which is a stark contrast to economies like the US, where domestic consumption drives growth. This over-reliance on international markets leaves Germany highly vulnerable to global downturns. For example, as China's economy cooled and US-Europe trade tensions escalated, Germany's flagship industries, automotive and machinery, suffered devastating blows. In 2024, automotive exports fell and machinery exports slumped, wiping billions off the economy. The lack of economic diversification compounds the problem. Germany's focus on high-tech manufacturing has left it lagging in digitalization and service industries, which now dominate the global economy. Meanwhile, domestic consumption remains stubbornly low, as stagnant wages and high taxes discourage spending. The result? An economy too dependent on external demand and ill-prepared for the tectonic shifts of a changing world. Is it too late for Germany to pivot toward a more balanced economic model? Another significant factor adds to these challenges: Donald Trump. His unpredictable foreign policy is already affecting Europe. The growing uncertainty, coupled with his diminishing support for EU unity, poses a threat to the already fragile ties between member states of the Union. For Germany, this scenario is particularly dangerous. The AfD, with its anti-EU and pro-Russia rhetoric, could gain even more traction, using Trump's policies as ammunition in their quest to pull Germany out of the European Union. If Germany's political fractures deepen, it could be the spark that sets off a chain reaction, destabilizing Europe in ways we've never imagined. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel to stay updated on future content. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.